Hi guys, James here for Chronic Fatigue Syndrome, my friend, my enemy, my constant companion. What's up, what's down, sideways. Day 60. Wow, 40 more days and it'll be 100. Which is, yeah, it's a bit of a milestone. I didn't know what would happen when I started doing this, and here I am making them on day 60. Wow. Um, I thought what I'd share today is there's a lot of what can I do, how can I express myself. I'm bedbound or I'm housebound or that kind of thing, or I'm stuck in my head or this kind of thing. Um, Changing locations is a really big thing. You know how when they say like change is as good as a holiday? Eh, But sometimes just changing, like, let's say you have a house with 3 rooms in it and you spend your time mainly in room 1, simply going into room 2 and doing a different activity can be a good change. Like, you might not have a lot of energy, like, today I will travel to room 2, and I get to room 2 and I'm just going to read a book or watch Netflix. You're like, you know what, but I'm really adventurous. Today I'm going to go to room 3, and in room 3 I'm going to write a paragraph. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I might even look at the floor and consider doing a push-up. I just like push-ups. And even when I'm not feeling not good, the idea of push-ups is still not fun. However, they're really valuable, and there's many grades of push-ups. You can do them from the wall or anything like that. But so it's just changing that. So my family calls it going for a walk around the block. One family member just does it from the study to the kitchen lounge room and back. I might go up or downstairs, sit there for 30 seconds or 5 minutes, depending on how much energy I have, and then come back. Like, it's just that kind of break. Or you might just go outside and stand still for 30 seconds. And I'm using like 30-second allotments because that's really all that you need to change that. But you could stay at like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If outside the weather permits, you could go sit outside for 5 minutes. That might drain you, but at least you've done something different. You've moved your body. You've given it a task, and it's accomplished that task, and you can provide that stimulus and build up upon it. And then it's kind of like, okay, well, James, I'm bored, or I'm not making any money, or so money's a really huge thing with people with chronic fatigue syndrome here, like, because we're not built for the current world as it stands, which is like a 9 to 5 job, or work 2 jobs, or cars, mortgage, expenses, blah blah blah. People keep telling me to get a car. I'm like, why do I want the extra stress in my life? I do have a car, but for the longest time, people were like, get a car. I'm like, no. And then when I got a car, I gave it to my friend. So, woo. And occasionally I get driven around, now and then. But at the same time, I'm happy to take public transport or walk. So it's just, some people won't understand how much of a stress adding something like a car in onto life. And other people with chronic fatigue syndrome, the car gives them a level of freedom. So that's also good. Even though I'm quite prepared to walk or bus or tram or train or fly where I need to go, a car is convenient sometimes to just hop in and go. But at the same time, so we'll leave the money one away for the moment, but the interests you have, you can develop those. And we have the World Wide Web. Okay, so you have an international community. You can hang out with people on other chronic fatigue syndrome support groups, and some of them are good, and some of the people on them are good. Or you can create a network of online friends and and interact with them. You can make your own Facebook group and add Molly, Bob, Joan, and Albert, who all have similar interests in Japanese manga. Like, it doesn't have to be around chronic fatigue syndrome. You don't need to have a group of people whose thing is chronic fatigue syndrome. You don't need it. It's not needed. It's not necessary. It might be nice to be able to share it with people, but there's already those kind of groups. Like, if you need to go tell someone that you're having a bad day, they exist. But if you love manga, then you can engage in a group like that. Create your own group or find a group. If you love knitting, then there's so many knitting groups. If you like horse riding and you'd love to be able to go for a horse ride someday, but you can't, so just watching equestrian things really makes you happy. Like, there are ways of pulling yourself out of your head. Like, you can, as I've said before, if I had a child with chronic fatigue syndrome, I'd go like, right, what are you interested in? And then I would create something which would allow them to get involved with that which they are interested in. I think I use the analogy of a ball game because I'm not into ball sports at all. Like, man rubs ball, man throws ball, other man hits ball with bat, ball goes flying, man runs after it or catches it and throws it to another person, and we repeat. So this is it's a really, like, you know, there's a lot more to ball games than that, but at the moment I don't engage with them. However, if my child was like, oh, I really love XYZ ball games, like, right, what can we learn about it? What's the history about it? What can we learn about other aspects of real life with this ball game? You know, business management, like advertising, like what advert did we see for this ball game? Like, there's so much you could tie in with a ball game. You can teach them business, so mathematics. You can teach them like advertising, human psychology through advertising, the commentators, how do they speak, how is their enunciation, how is their pause and pitch. So there's a lot you could do with it. You can make it really involved, and suddenly it's not just a ball game, it's a whole new world. I find it really hard to say a whole new world without that Disney theme, whole new world, that from Aladdin going in my head. Don't know about you, but that's what comes up. So you can create this whole world to immerse and pull yourself out of your head from the chronic fatigue syndrome. Now, I say that I would do that with a child because children require guidance. Adults require guidance as well, but we have the ability to do some of this of our own accord. So if you're stuck in bed for a bit, like most days you can only get up for 20 minutes. Cool. What are you going to do in those 20 minutes? I'm not including toilet breaks or stuff like that. Oh, James, I've got to do housework. Cool. Alright. Is there a way around, like, is there a workaround? Is there something that you can work in? Do you live on your own? Do you live with someone? Like, what, you know, maybe you can get them to housework and you can contribute in some other way. Like, there's a workaround, but anyway, let's say that you're, for the most part, you can't be very active, you're stuck. And you've already done your movement plan for the day, whether it's, you know, raise your arms in bed, or you've got up and you've done a few squats, or you've walked around the block, whatever it is. What are you interested in that you can make into something? So, like, I like knitting. Once again, I can tie knitting into, so knitting's very artistic. It requires a hand-eye coordination and dexterity, which is brilliant. You know, you got to use both sides. You know, like, you've got new patterns you can find. You can try and make new things. You might get to the level of it where you can knit little trinkets and then sell them at car boots or on eBay, and like that could be a few dollars. Not saying like that, but you can turn your interests and monetize them. But that'll be another video. So you can turn it into a whole new world. Like, who is the best knitter in the world? Like, could I engage with them? Who's got a YouTube knitting channel? I really like that. I noticed that I have this spin on it. I could start a YouTube knitting channel. You just need to sit up. Your thing could be the YouTube knitter who's in bed. Like, that could be your thing. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to like, oh, I'm stuck in bed. Like, can you prop yourself up? Like, when you're knitting, how do you do it? Do you prop yourself up? Yeah, I prop myself up. Prop yourself up. Take your hair out of your eyes. Put a camera and like share something about knitting, or like, hey guys, are you having trouble with this? I had trouble with this. This is how I fixed it. Boom. Stick that up on YouTube. And the beautiful thing is that when you first start, no one will watch it, so you don't have to worry about being good, which is how I got around doing mine. Because like I said, video is not my medium. I'm still learning about it. I'm still working on it. I'm a lot more comfortable now for doing this kind of medium, but when I'm demonstrating martial techniques in that, I still a little bit, put me in a crowd of like 100,000 people, don't matter. It's cool. I know what I'm doing. Put me in front of a little camera thing, like, there's actually cicadas going on outside. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's the most choice sound effect right now. So, how do you move out of your head? Find what you're interested in and see how that can move out into the world. So how do you move out of your head? Find what you're interested in. If you're interested in knitting, how can you move into the world of knitting? You know, if you're interested in cats, how can you move into the world of cats? If you're interested in ball games, how can you move into the world of ball games? Okay? If you've got a child, how can you move them into that world and teach them about the world? You know, and I bring up business because I deal with business, and knowing how to make money is always a good thing. But it also teaches about, you know, human psychologies in there, advertising, how to be able to speak, commentating. Like, there's so many aspects of human interaction that you can teach your child through a ball game. Okay, and a ball game is not even my ideal, wouldn't be my ideal thing. It's like, if that's what my child's interested though, that's the world I'm going to delve into. Me personally, and then I like pick it to bits and like, ooh, how can I share this with it? Make it exciting, make it a game. So that way, even if their school isn't being handled too well, they're still learning real world things. And maybe I'll make a video on that another time. So look, thank you very much for letting me share with you day 60, how to move out of your head. If you have any questions or you want to introduce yourself, leave a comment below, send a message. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, and hit the little notification button. And thank you very much. I hope you guys have a great Monday.